Hello everyone, so welcome. Today we will discuss about the second chapter of chemistry in class 10, acid, bases and salts. So here we will discuss about the characteristics, what are they actually and what are their reaction with other substances. Speaking of these, first of all, chemicals, they are divided into three categories: acids, bases and salts. Now, what are acids? Acids are those substances, those chemicals which when dissolved in water, they give out H plus ion. When dissolved in water, they give out H plus ions. Bases, when they are dissolved in water, they give out OH minus ions. Another definition that we can say about acids is that when an acid is made to react with a metal, then the outcome is hydrogen gas. Whenever an acid reacts with a metal, the output is a certain chemical substance along with hydrogen. This hydrogen gas, when exposed to flame, it burns with a popping sound. Now, when acids and bases react together, then they give out a neutral substance called salt. When acid reacts with a base, they give salt along with water. Let us take an example. Let us take a very common acid, HCl, and a common base, NaOH. When they react together, then this bond breaks. What happens is that this Na and this Cl, they combine together to give a new substance called sodium chloride, which is our common white salt. The remaining H plus and OH minus ions, they combine together to give water. So this reaction where an acid reacts with a base to give salt and water, this is called neutralization reaction. It's called neutralization reaction. Here the acid and bases, they just give their ions to form a salt, whereas the residual H plus ion and OH ion, they give out water. Now, what are the types of acids? If we talk about the types, then there are two types of acids based on their strength. So, speaking of strength, acids are either strong acids or weak acids. The strong acids are also called mineral acids, whereas the weak ones are called organic acids. So what makes them strong or what makes them weak? When we dissolve a certain type of acid in water, then the amount of H plus ions released in water in that solution denotes whether the acid is strong or weak. If the amount of H plus is more in the solution, then it is a strong acid. If the amount of H plus is lesser, comparatively lesser in the solution, then it is weak acid. Example is HCl, HNO3, hydrochloric acid and nitric acid. Whereas organic acids, these are like CH3, COOH. The chemical name of this compound is acetic acid, whereas a solution of this, we commonly call it vinegar. In short, we can say that organic acids, we can consume them in very dilute form. When mixed with water, we can consume them. Now, similarly, bases are also of two types, strong and weak. So, strong ones, they have higher concentration of OH minus ions, higher concentration, and the weak ones, they have lower concentration of OH minus ions. So now let us talk about those things that helps us to detect to say whether a substance which is unknown to us are actually acids or bases. Those substances, they are called indicators. The substances that help us to check whether a substance is acidic or base or neutral, they are called indicators. Indicators are further of two types, natural and synthetic or artificial, we can say. So the natural ones are like, we have onion, we have turmeric and lichen plants, while the synthetic ones are phenolphthalein, we have methyl orange. They change color. They change color in either acidic or basic medium to denote. They have characteristic colors, that this type of indicator will show this color in our basic medium and that type of color in acidic medium. So what about the natural ones? Like the natural ones, we have color indicating and also smelling. We call that olfactory indicator. Like onion is olfactory indicator, where the onion can denote the presence of acid by the smell of that thing. And turmeric, it changes color by showing that it is a basic thing. Now let us come to some reactions of acids and bases. Then so how do acids react with metal? Let us take an example, HCl, and let us take metal sodium. This sodium has a very high tendency, high affinity for this chlorine. So they will combine together to form NaCl, leaving behind hydrogen. Now this hydrogen always stays in diatomic form H2. So let us balance that. From this equation we can see that an acid reacts with a metal to give a salt along with hydrogen gas as per the definition. Now if we talk about bases, not all bases react with metals, but certain bases do with certain metals. Like if we talk about NaOH, which is a very strong base, and expose it to zinc, then it gives us a new compound called sodium zincate. This particular compound is called sodium zincate, and this happens as a special case. So here also we can get base plus metals, they give salt and hydrogen gas. Now instead of metal, what will happen if we take metal carbonate or metal hydrogen carbonate? So what will be the reaction of acid with metal carbonate or metal hydrogen carbonate? So let us take an acid HCl, expose it to sodium carbonate. This is sodium carbonate. When this mixture react together, then the output is NaCl along with water and a new product, carbon dioxide. Let us balance that. Now we can see that acid and metal carbonate gives out salt, water along with a new output, a new product, carbon dioxide. What will happen if we replace the metal carbonate with metal hydrogen carbonate? So let us take metal hydrogen carbonate, sodium hydrogen carbonate, sodium hydrogen carbonate. So we get here the same sodium chloride, a salt, water and carbon dioxide. So we see that whenever a metal compound or metal hydrogen compound is reacted with any sort of acid, then the output is salt, water and carbon dioxide. So these are the reactions of acid with metal carbonate and metal hydrogen carbonate. Now what will happen if we react an acid with metal oxides? Bases are metal hydroxides. What will happen if we just try to react acids with metal oxides? Metal having their compounds with oxygen. So acid plus metal oxide, what will be the output? So let us take, this time let us take a different type of acid. Let it be H2SO4 and let that metal be MgO. So acid metal oxide, the output will be the same. This sulfate goes to the metal. This sulfate is an anion, the metal part is a cation. So by electrostatic bonding they form magnesium sulfate, which is again a salt. Now the remaining hydrogen and oxygen, they form water. So I think we have seen that equation earlier where acid reacts with something to give us salt and water. So we have seen that reaction to be neutralization reaction, where acid reacts with our base to give salt and water. So this metal oxide behaves as base. This is why we can also term metal oxides to be basic oxides. Now what will happen if we take a non-metallic oxide and base? If we turn the tables, like if we take base and a non-metallic oxide, what will happen? Let that be NaOH and non-metallic oxide carbon dioxide, you can say. So the output will be Na2CO3 plus H2O. So we can see that the output is now same as that of neutralization reaction, where base is reacting with something to give salt and water. This is again a replica of neutralization reaction. So we can say that non-metallic oxides, they behave as acidic oxides. I am repeating again, acids and bases during neutralization reaction, they give out salt and water. In this case we have seen that acid reacts with metal oxide to give out salt and water. So we can say that metal oxides, they behave as bases, basic oxides. Here in this case, bases, they react with non-metallic oxide to give out salt and water, which is again the replica of neutralization reaction. So we can say that the non-metallic oxide is acidic in nature. Now moving on to the next part. So what are the common things in acids we have learned so far? All acids, they have H plus ions. All bases, they have OH minus ions. Now if we talk about their dilution, when acids are exposed, diluted to water, then they give out this. Now all acids are soluble in water, but all bases are not soluble. Like if we talk about NaOH, then it is soluble in water. Whenever we expose this to water, then it will be soluble. But speaking of calcium hydroxide, this is a base which is insoluble in water. So the bases that are soluble in water, we call them alkali bases or simply alkali. those bases that are soluble in water, we call them alkali bases, and the corresponding metal we call it alkali metal. The corresponding metal is called alkali metal. Now, so how to dilute an acid? What is dilution? See, if we if there is a drink you want to make, and suppose you have dropped some higher amount of salt in it. So in order to decrease the taste of the salt, the saltiness of that juice, what we do, we add some more water to it, or whatever is the solvent. So whenever we want to decrease the strength, the relative strength of an acid, what we do, we add water to that. But during that process, one thing that we must remember is that the dilution, that means adding of water to acids, is highly exothermic. If we just take water and acid and drop one into the other, that will be a highly exothermic process, and that may splash out the acid to us, causing us injury. So the best way to dilute an acid is to slowly pour water into the acid with constant stirring. We should constantly move the entire solution so that the heat produced is distributed uniformly throughout the mass of the solution, so that there is minimum chance of causing an accident. Now, the opposite of dilution is called concentration. Now, what is concentration? Like if we keep on heating milk, we will get a stage where the milk becomes more and more dense. That means we are increasing the amount of milk in that solution. Similarly, if you want to, if suppose you have seen that the amount of acid that you have mixed with water has gone very low, then you can take out the amount of water, or you can add some more acid into it, thereby increasing the concentration. This process where we increase the amount of the acid in a solution, it's called concentration, and that particular solution is called concentrated solution. The opposite is called diluted solution. Simply, if in a solution we decrease the amount of acids, then we call it diluted solution, and if we increase the amount of acid, we call it concentrated solution. So we have seen in our markets that concentrated fruit juice. What does that concentrated fruit juice means? That it means that the amount of fruit juice, whatever the chemicals they add, or it may be real, that is higher in amount as compared to the water or the solvent mixed with. Next, we have to come to a common ground where we can measure, where we can compare acids and bases. So that common ground must be such that all the acids, all the bases, all of them must be accommodated in that particular common ground. That particular common ground where we can classify acids and bases according to their strengths, it is called pH. pH of a solution. The pH of a solution is a scale. The scale is numbered from 0 to 14 and 7 at the middle. Any value less than 7 indicates acidic character. Lesser the value, greater is the acidic character. That means, suppose there is an acid which has pH value 6 and the other which has a pH value of 2. Then this acid which has pH value 2 is more acidic than this value. Suppose there is one acid 1 or X we can say, and the other acid is Y, then this acid is stronger than the one with 6 pH value. Similarly, if we go on increasing from 7, if we go on increasing the value, then the basic character increases. Like if there is a base which is having pH 8 and the other one is suppose 10 or 11, then this base is stronger as compared to this base. So in short, lesser the value of pH, stronger is the acid. Higher the value of pH, stronger the base. And this pH 7 is neutral. Our human body works in the range this 7 to 7.8. The human body, it runs in the pH range 7 to 7.8. Now there are other certain situations where we can use the pH, like acid rain. We have all learnt of acid rain in our previous classes. So when can we say that an acid rain has occurred? See, when the rain occurs, the pH of the rain can range from 7 to a very high range of it. But when exactly we should call the rain to be acidic rain? When the pH value of rain has decreased below 5.6, then we call it acid rain. We can say acid rain has occurred only when the pH value of a particular day rainfall has decreased below 5.6. Now, what are the other things that we can compare by using the pH? Like that of sometimes we have what? We have certain acidity issues. We have digestion issues where we have acidity. So when do we suffer from acidity? We are always having HCl secreted in our stomach. But when to say that our stomach has gone through acidity? When the pH of our stomach has decreased below, it's not that value, decreased below a certain point, then we call it acidity. We are suffering from acidity. In order to cure, to give a remedy to our acidity, what we do, we take antacids. Antacids are nothing but mild bases like milk of magnesia. Milk of magnesia, which is nothing but magnesium hydroxide. This magnesium hydroxide or milk of magnesia is used in making of antacids. We have many sorts of antacids, like what we say Gelusil, then many other products are there. So we have milk of magnesia, which is our antacid. A limited amount of consumption of milk of magnesia will help us in curing our acidity problems. Now, another major issue that we encounter is the decaying of our teeth. So what actually happens that causes tooth decay? Whenever we eat food, then some of the foods, they get stuck between our gaps of the teeth. Now those bacteria in our mouth, they keep on digesting those food and then secrete out acidic wastes. Those wastes, when they drop below 5.5, then tooth decay starts. When the acidic output by those germs in our mouth drops below the pH level of 5.5, then what happens? The tooth decay in our mouth starts. There are several other possible things where we can use this pH. Almost everything in chemistry we can compare the acidic character or basic character based on the pH of that solution. Now moving on to the next part, we have salts. So salts are simply the products when acids and bases react together. Now, based on the strength of the acid and the base that were taken during the reaction, salts can also be classified into three categories. Salts are of three categories. One is acidic salt, one is neutral salt, while the other is basic salt. So when to call a salt acidic or neutral or basic? When we take a strong acid and a weak base, the output is acidic. When we take a weak acid and a strong base, then the output is basic salt. Now if you take strong strong, weak weak, then the output is neutral like NaCl. So what will be the example of acidic salt? Ammonia is slightly basic. It's a weak basic compound. When it forms a compound with chlorine, it should be NH4Cl, ammonium chloride. This is having the characteristics of the acid involved in it. So this becomes slightly acidic, making it acidic salt. Similarly, calcium is a very strong metal. If it forms carbonate, then this is a basic salt, because here the cation part was weak, the anion part was strong, so it was an acidic salt. Here the cation part is strong, anion part is a bit weak, so the salt formed was basic salt. And here both of them are strong, so it's a neutral salt.